So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live show with live peoples. It's recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I'm working in Joanna and the Joanna's book Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and I'm using my Derwent Graphik liner pens, and these have got acrylic in them, and you're supposed to use them in a completely different way than I'm going to use them. The full set arrives in this gorgeous little box, and I've zoomed in so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So this little box has got all the babies, and you have to store them horizontally. And when you first use them, first of the day, you give them a little shake because they need a bit of movement. I actually I've got a pot of water, and I've got a damp baby wipe, and what I'm using the damp baby wipe for is that hasn't technically dried. If you wet a wipe with a wet baby wipe, when you drop your ink into it, it doesn't dry out like acrylic ink. If I'd have just put 2 drops of ink on there, it dries out, but because I've put that little bit of dampness, even though this is dried out, so we can see it now, I can reconstitute that, most of it, and I can use it because it has a little bit of dampness to it. Oh, I've made a mess, but that's okay because it's supposed to be the Inky Butterfly, isn't it? So I've had a bit of a play on the other pages, and I want to do the butterfly in 7 and 12. And 7 and 12 is, these have got strange names. We've got Mint and we've got Rain. Now, when you work with them, they're supposed to blob out, and they are supposed to do that. But I don't like them doing that. But when they do blob out, I use them in a completely different way. So I'm wiping this so it's just barely damp. And you can see that when I put a blob of colour on here, it runs instantly. Now, this one wants a clean, but I don't clean them because it's a waste of ink. But I'm probably going to get a blob now. You are supposed to push down and get a blob, blow it with a straw, blow it with your mouth, be extremely wet and free with them. On watercolour paper, but I don't want to do that, so I'm using a damp Daler-Rowney Rigger number 1, and I'm picking up the colour with a damp brush and then kind of dotting it in because I want a nice soft watercolour effect. I should have maybe had a little bit more stronger colour for this, but I want it kind of inky. And really you shouldn't do this over your work because it will splatter. So I've got a damp brush, pick up that acrylic oil, and then just drop this in. And if you use them in a soft way, they won't go through, because bearing in mind it's an ink, and the last thing we want is for it to go through the pages. And I want that inky effect, so again I still want a little bit more, so I'm going to put this here because the chances are you'll probably splash all over your work. Now actually I'm not bothered because I want it to be called the Inky Butterfly, so that's fine. And that's what inspired me to want to use an ink. So this technically is an acrylic ink pen. And you can draw fine lines in it. It's a fine liner pen, but it's full of acrylic ink. But I love this blotchiness, this inky effect. So I've got some ivy there. So this colour, I don't want to waste it, so I'll mix it together. And we'll use it. It's almost a pink, so we'll use it on the petals of these. It's very soft. And I'm sure we could put some more in a bit later if we want to, but we've just managed to get very soft effect all the way around. So I'm just going to rearrange the camera very slightly. Bungle's been playing with the lights, his favourite thing. Been attacked by a small furry ponytat. That's slightly better. I think that's slightly better. So again, I love the fact that I've nearly used it all up. So I'm going to wipe that again, so it's just damp. And baby wipes and hand wipes are slightly better to use because kitchen towel just disintegrates. So I now want some green, and I do have one called Billy, and I think that's about as green as we get. So again, that's probably dried now. So this is probably dried. I'm going to put a bit of orange to it actually, because a bit of clockwork. So they want a bit of a shape when you first use them. Make sure that ceramic dish is dry. So any shiny ceramic dish will be fine. And then you can see the colour runs because it's damp. And the same with the green one. But what I thought I might do is I might put them together. So we've got the middle green here. And it looks a bit of a fake green. I just think it looks a bit fake green. That's just put a little bit of inky to this. And then we can go into that yellow. And when the yellow goes over, I'll put some of that in as well. So kind of like that. So I'm going to put some more in there. Pick up that. I've still got to think about not going over though, because if we go over, if we go through, sorry, we're going to have colour on the other side. So remember, it's still an acrylic ink. Just use it quite sparingly. and just stroke that over the page. And we can't do too many strokes because remember it's a colour page. It's not watercolour paper. And the damp brush is still picking up that yellow, so we can kind of do all sorts with that yellow. Pick it up a bit more and just drop it in. We can't really rub it too much, but we can drop it in where we want. So we've got a bit of an inky effect. I think you can get the Graphik pens from them. I think they're £60 from them, but I have seen them. But Cass Art have them for 40. But I don't know if Cass Art. I think Cass Art's are 44. It's a studenty kind of art shop in the UK. But they're about 50 to 60. I think they will ship anywhere, but I'm not sure about outside the UK. So I've still got a bit of green going on there. So I'll have a look, guys, and I'll put it in the description below when I find out. I'll put a link to them. But maybe Amazon might be the better place. So there's still a little bit of colour left on there, not much. Excuse me. I think I want to put a bit of yellow in that one. Now, although we've got one green, we can always make our own greens because we've got excuse me, we've got some colour. So I'm just going to tap on there the lighter yellow. And a bit of blue. Oh, excuse me. Of course, you can mix these, but they're better on a damp plate. I want some yellow. Oh goodness me! Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry guys, had a coughing fit. So did you find them, Suzanne? No, they don't smell at all. No, there's no smell at all. They don't smell, and just wanted to double check to see if we've not gone through. No. So I like the fact I've got some little inky bits on here, and the green will constitute. In fact, it's all kind of reconstituting, so that's okay. So it's all kind of quite wet, so I want a bit of orange. And the green. It's a bit pale, isn't that? And it's a little bit wet, so I have to go back in there and pick a bit up. And I think that's like this one's called Fingers. It's a bit green, but not. It's a bit of a yellow green. Sorry, Bungle, it's just been Mr. demanding. We've got an Alfie in cat form. So I like the pale colours. Just going to nip back on this side here because I don't want to waste any. Oh yes, Suzanne, you can buy them one set at a time. They come in sets of 5, and there's some drawing ones as well, because they're not designed to be used for this. Definitely not. You're supposed to, if you go onto YouTube and watch artists use them very loosely on watercolour paper as mixed media, they splatter them, they blow them over with all sorts. I'm just putting a little bit over here because I don't want to waste this gorgeous colour. It might come back a little bit if it dries, but I'm just going to do this colour. And again, I've got that kind of a bit of an inky effect, which I kind of like. So colouring in these I was going to do the stem probably a little bit darker. But I really don't want to waste any of this colour that's quite nice. So I'm going to just put a few little inky marks on it because it's... Oh, Bungles! Poor Bungle. And we can splatter a little bit because it's supposed to be inky, and the butterfly. And this one's got a little mark on it here, so just put a little bit of that on. There's not much is coming off now, it's all gone. So again, tight Yorkshire lass, all gone. So I'm going to wipe it now, and I want think I want a bit of purple. Now the purple is the one I normally blob. I nearly always blob it. I don't mean to, but I just kind of do. I've got a little bit scratched on there. So apologies about the kitty cat. Again, got to be a little bit careful that we don't go through. But I think I've had enough practice now to know that I'm not going to go through. I think I just want to maybe put some little darker bits through. Not traditional, no. They're definitely not designed for colour books because it's an acrylic ink, and normally inks go straight through pages. If you did this with any other ink, it would go straight through, so you want to do it on pages that you don't care about the other side. But I like that effect. It's very soft but a bit inky. So my practice page with my butterfly, I think I used a different green, but I got some quite nice combinations. So I've had a real good play with these first. Now this is card. This cover, front and back cover. But I did have a bit of a play on the first page. But this would be very boring to watch because it's just all the same. So this is in part 2, I think. It's very boring. So this will be about page. And I'm going to be naughty. I'm going to break the spine back on there. I have a bone folder because if I don't, it'll drive me nuts, I think. So it lies flat. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with any of the others, but I've done it with that one. Bungle! Bungle! Puss! He's so spoiled. Oh, just... And Alfie's on the other side going, let me in, let me in, let me in. And Bungle's going, let me out, let me out, let me out. Are you going to give him a few bickies because he won't shut up?
Okay, that's fine. Right, I'm going to nip to power.
So we've got Mint, which is number 12, and we've got Rain, which is number 7. And they're the colours of the butterfly, but I actually like them for the bluebells. Look at my bluebells. Oh no, it wasn't, it was pale blue. So I'm just wiping that so it's fairly damp. Sorry guys, Alfie's in the room. We have an Alfie. I think we have a bunko as well actually. Alfie, can you get down please? Come here. Come on. Dave, good boy. Being a good boy. Be a little bit careful going in it twice. But I do like the idea that the inks. So, I think I want... Alfie, can you get down? Get down, please, now. Alfie, you've been outside. Oh, he's just a bad puppy. Go on, Suzanne, put your foot down, please. Suzanne says behave yourself, Alfie. She's going to box your ears. Take it down. And we'll have a yellow middle. I'm going to do all the little daisies now, so do all the middles. Oh, I think I might do the middles a darker orange. Because we want them to show up, don't we? And again, it's a nice quiet way to work, whereas normally when you associate inks you think, oh, mess and splashes, and so it's quite nice to kind of manipulate a pen to do something that it's not really designed to do, to give these beautiful soft colours. And I don't think I've missed any. There's a little bit of soft yellow in there. I like the fact there's a little bit of white. I think we then have number 3, Tom, and that's kind of an orangey colour, that one. So again, damp brush, twist on a baby wipe. It's going to be diluted even more, and then we just want a dot in the middle. Oh gosh. So the whole clown is now in the room. There's just that little touch of bright orange in there that's just made them pop out. So I like this colour. Pig, stop it please. I like that colour. So again, we can test it on here. It's quite a nice colour. Haven't decided what to do with the hair. See if we can constitute this purple back. Yes, because we've got a little drop of water on there before. If you did that normally, the acrylic ink would dry, because I've just found a purple flower in her hair. And so I think that's all there are there. Oh, there's 2 little bluebells I've missed. Missed 2 bluebells. So we've got a bit of colour here. So I'm just going to put a bit of blue on there. So now I need some green. So we've got number 13, Envy. So I'm going to put Envy on top of that yellow. A damp rigger. And we've got, I'll zoom in a bit and you can maybe be able to see a bit better actually. Yes, it's only because it's feeding time and hubby's gone out, that's all. It's just a madhouse when it's tea time. So I can actually zoom in a bit more, and then I'll just see if I can. And because I'd put that little bit of water to it, that tiny amount, it's now been able to reconstitute it back into a watercolour. But if I hadn't have put it on a damp plate, if I'd have just put the acrylic ink on a damp plate, it would have dried, because I've done that before. So it's taken a couple of weeks to get this technique of playing with the ceramic dish, the inks. And the first time I used these, I tried to draw it onto the colour plate and I had a blob. So I've learnt not to do that because they will blob out. So this is a nice soft colour. So I think I've got all the tiny leaves. So we've got some green left, so I think I was going to do these. I don't want it the same colour. So it's on the pot, it's nearly dried. I'm going to put a touch of Paradise in there, which is a kind of a turquoisey blue. So now we've got the green and we mix that turquoisey blue up. That's quite a nice green. And it's a big space, so I think I'm going to just dot this at the bottom. I think. And then across the same side, do the same thing. So these are opaque, supposedly. So the other thing we can do is we can take the bright yellow, which is number 1, Brick Road, for obvious reasons. And I'm just wetting gently. It's probably a bit too pale, is that one? But as long as we let it dry, we can go back in and do something a bit later. I think I might put a bit of Billy in that one. To make it kind of a blue-green, I think. So again, just a drop of water. We really do not want that on your brush though, because it will go through. So you try and get as much as you can off. Got a bit carried away. That's more unusual. So we found we can work a bit stronger, but we can't rub because any movement up and down the page, it destroys the pages. It's not necessarily even the damp, it's the fact that we're destroying the page. So they're a little bit more unusual. Oh yes, Kingo, they do. Oh, you want a pink dress? Does it say it's a pink dress? I can't remember. I can't remember, Susie, if it's a pink. If it's a pink dress. I read the story and then I can't remember. Could we have purple and a pink trim, or pink and a purple trim? We do have a pink, we have a tickled, and you can see what they look like when they've not been shaken. You can see the ink, and then the ball bearing mixes them all together. actually doing a new technique that I've not done before. Just wetting it with a damp brush. And then I can scratch a bit of colour in. And you can see it run. As soon as you touch, you know how much water you've got. So, we can go back to our little girl. It's a bit wet actually, but it's fine. If things are too wet, you can nip the brush and you don't have to waste the paint on the end. It's a bit pinky. I think while we had the pink out, we could have possibly just switched to our liner. This is the De La Rowney Graduate Liner Pen, and it's a 10-0, and I find it's quite nice for small spaces. So don't twist on a baby wipe, pick up a little bit of colour. And I'm just going to work in those little tiny spaces. She might have a bit of a shadow under there as well. So we have a little flower there. And this one on the opposite side there. So when you first look at it, you think, oh my goodness, there's a lot going on, but you soon pick things off one by one and it looks better. So again, we've got these green things here. I kind of like that combination we had. So we had the yellow first. Go back to the number 1 brush. kind of like that, still a little bit inky. So we've got kind of a swirl going on there, so I don't know if that's going to be kind of, could be kind of gold, I think. So you see if we can get some of this off. So we can't get some of it, but we can get most of that. And again, as a tight Yorkshire lass, I kind of like that. So I'm going to go for this swirl. So I've got two little flowers at either side here. And again, I've used all that up. So kind of like that. Nope, doesn't like the white dish. For some strange reason. So, let's have a look what colours we want. We've got herring, which is like a pinky red, I think. There's quite a big blob of that, actually. Could I possibly put... So thanks for joining me, guys. Hope everybody's all right. It's a very miserable day today in the UK, and dusk is drawing in quick, making it even more miserable than it's been all day. Yeah, we get a bit of miserable weather, and then we're having some more Russian weather, I think. We're having some more snow and bad temperatures. It's getting more inky. I've got the stalks to do, and I've actually got a fleshy colour to do, so if we water that down a bit more, we will probably have a fleshy colour. I think I'm going to mix these together. I've got kind of an orangey colour, so I'm going to look for a flower. And let's look for a flower. There's two flowers on the outside, very similar to the ones on the inside. So again, I think and then across to this one. And I do love the fact that I'm using every scrap. I mean, that colour there is bright red, but I've watered it down to be quite soft, and I kind of like that now. So if I put that red back into here, which I said was number 4, herring, you know, it's a very in-your-face red. It's a pinky red. And I think now I could be able to maybe drop some of that colour in. move to the other one. Put red on there. And I suppose if we want a lot of colour, we use a damp brush, twist to a baby point, and then we're just going to touch the end. Now do this off your work. I wouldn't do this on your work. Chances are you probably. But you can get some kind of nice darks in there. And I'm not really thinking about matching the colours, I'm just kind of going with the flow. So we've got that green, which is number 13. So I'm starting with a green, but don't forget the damp baby wipe. If you put the damp baby wipe and wipe it, or even a dampish brush, and have a layer of just dampness, your colours will be reconstitutable. I think I have this. So we've got the orange and the green. Oh, we've made a brown. Have we made a brown? Yep, brownish. So now we've got hair. So we can just colour the hair in. And we've got this brown now, so if we're careful, we can and then there's kind of a little bit of a, I think it's a leaf, but I want to make it a brown leaf. And we have some stalks, so again we might as well use this brown that we've got. Don't really want to use it for anything else. So there's some nice swirls here. I think they could be yellow. It's more like a picture frame. I think I'm going to put yellow in that one. Put yellow in that one. So how are we doing for time? So I'll zoom out and we can see how far we've got. Oops, got away there, thank you. Courtesy of Bungle. So we've got some quite nice effects with that. So it's about a quarter done, maybe a bit more than a quarter. So that's quite nice because it's a nice quiet way to work. And I think that's probably the end of part maybe 4. So we've got some nice inky colours on that side. And none of the colours have come through, but we've got a bit of an inky effect. So thank you for watching.